All right. Hi, everybody. This is Celia Faye Meisel, energetic and spiritual alignment coach, and welcome to today's episode of Feature Friday. And today I am featuring our very special guest, Shelly Petersen, who is an intuitive artist, a psychic medium, and healer. And we're going to be talking about how Shelly works and empowers her clients with the law of attraction, and how the law of attraction can be used to create this fulfilled, joyful life that you desire. So welcome, Shelly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about you and the work that you do?
Yeah, so you've pretty much covered it all. I do. I work with the law of attraction, and I like to really just simplify it down into easy terms, right? So I don't use a lot of the woo-woo language you hear out there. I don't make it mystical. We just simplify it into real life and make it really easy, because it's really just about your energy. What energy are you putting into everything? And helping people turn things around, because I was 5 years ago, well, 6-7 years ago now, I was suffering a lot. And nobody in the position of, postpartum depression and, lots of physical pain due to chronic illness and things like that. Nobody in that position wants to hear the words, "You're doing this to yourself."
Right.
But coming to terms with that and understanding that and really accepting that I had the power to change what I was experiencing, it gave me my power back. So that's why I do this work, is because I took my life back and now I'm thriving, right? And you really, truly do not have to suffer. You really don't. So that's why I do what I do.
Beautiful. And that's a powerful message to anybody who is in the audience and is in that place of suffering, because I've been there before too. And I remember when I got sick, the moment that I got a diagnosis, I knew that I could heal. There was just something that switched out, so I went on that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time of your recovery and your healing, is that when you discovered the law of attraction?
Yeah, I had heard about it before, and I just thought it was hokey pokey. I didn't want anything to do with it, because I was in that space of like, don't tell me I'm doing this to myself. I'm not choosing this, because you deny it. You don't want to know. But when you are, for me, I was constantly putting myself in the middle of drama. I was sucking up negative emotions like sponges, because I kept interacting with people that weren't healthy for me. And I kept saying yes to things I didn't want to do. And, so
Okay.
I was just continuing the cycle of pain and suffering and overwhelm. And, it's all about making different choices. We can choose different things. And when I began to say no to things I didn't want to do and say yes more to the things that I did want to do, then I began experiencing those things more. And I began experiencing more joy and more, pleasure and happiness. And that's what shifted things for me. That's when I realized, like, oh, there's something to this, but it's not what I was being told, because people would present it to me in a way that it was a mystery, and that it was, that it was the secret and all these things. Right. And then I'm like, if you can't just tell me what it is, then I don't want it. Right. If you can't explain it to me, then it doesn't make any sense. And it's too much for me right now. So as I began to understand energy and how energy works, and how, when you come into a situation believing it's going to be a problem, it will be.
Mm-hmm.
And when I began to see the evidence of that, then I started to realize that it was actually a thing. It wasn't something that people were explaining right. So that became my mission, was to really simplify it and make it clear, because it doesn't have to be so complicated or convoluted. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I find that that's what happens, is like how we develop our coaching gifts is starting to like find the answers to the questions that nobody's giving us, right? We start to look all over the place. I know that's how it's been for me with Akashic Records, is like finding what it really is and how I can really define it, even though I've had training and trainings, like
Yeah.
still it wasn't it like the same thing. I couldn't explain it even after investing 1K in a course.
Yep.
Like I couldn't tell somebody what it was still. So I am totally with you on that. So when you really began to unpack those things, because there was something you said about how you were making decisions and you were saying yes to things that you didn't want, but then you changed and you started saying yes to things that you did want. So what was the pivotal moment? Like what happened to make you start to know what you did want? Because some people will say yes to other things and they still create misalignment.
Yes. So that is really a process of elimination. For me, it was really just, choosing something, realizing, oh, no, that's not right, not choosing it anymore. And then, you go through that process, right? You're always offered options. And then as long as you know that you have the choice and you continue to have the choice and you can change your mind. A lot of us feel like we don't have the ability. Once we set in motion something, we have to see it through, right? And that's not true. We can absolutely change course and change our mind at any point in time. We don't have to continue down a road that doesn't feel good. So that was it. It took me years. That's why I'm doing this, because it took me so long to kind of figure it out, right? And to understand and empower myself to know that I had those choices to make. So really it was a process of elimination to figure out what I wanted, because at that point I didn't have any clarity at all. And that is one of the principles that I talk about in my PDF freebie that you're going to talk about. That I have for everyone. It's like, you need to have clarity, but when you're starting at point zero, you don't know what you want. Like a lot of us really just have no idea, especially if we've been, mothers or wives or, daughters of parents who were really overbearing. We don't have any idea because we were never allowed to have those choices. We always did everything for everyone else.
Yes.
So embracing that power to step into your own ability to choose for yourself is not an easy task. Like it's like climbing a mountain, and you have to just wake up and say, like, I am important enough. And that's what happened to me. I woke up one morning, or, I was laying on the couch one night crying with my son because I was just in so much pain. And I was like, something has to change. And the only thing that I have any control or power over is me. So I have to change. And if I have to change, then what do I do? What do I change? And I just had this internal conversation, and it came to me, and it was like, you have to choose something that you really, really want to do. What do you want to do? And I started reading cards. And I started offering reading cards, and that connected me more in with spirit, right? I'm getting goosebumps because it was like such a powerful moment for me to like do that, and putting myself out there and like choosing to connect with that higher source energy. And it's just been a constant funnel of change for me since then. So that was really powerful. And before that it was hobbies. So I started with crocheting, and I started with sewing and stuff like that. And I found, with sewing, it was great. I loved it, but it's a lot of work.
Okay.
So that was kind of one of those things where I realized, okay, I love this, but it's a hobby. It's not a all the time thing. I can't keep this up. I can't sustain this. So it's not my end all be all everything. It's something I do in my own. Right. So that was a course correction for me. That was, I can't do this always. This is something to enjoy. So you become aware, and you start to realize these things as you go. You don't have to know your end game. I think that's an important key piece too, because a lot of us look at, okay, well, when people talk about setting goals or desires or something, they think like it's got to be like this big end all be all end game thing. But we don't have an end game. There's no end. If you achieve your goal, you're not going to just poof and be gone. You make a new goal. So you don't have to start with something huge. You can start with something that's really manageable, something you can feel like you can achieve today. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the principles of what I teach, is like break it down into tiny little pieces that you can achieve today. Start to feel some traction, some forward motion. Feel better right now. Don't worry about 5 years from now.
Right.
Feel better right now. So I like to break it down and simplify it as much as possible.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's just so many nuggets of wisdom in there that you dropped. I love that. I hope that our audience is taking notes, because there's just so many things that you said about just to highlight a couple of those things, just about being in control. That's something that I had brought up to my clients if they're watching, like, I am in control of XYZ. Like, we're not in control of other people. We can't but we are in control. And like you said, we forget. We think that we don't have the power, and that's how we get disempowered. So that's that first step, is really just like taking control. And it's not always an overnight or ever. It's saying yes to the journey and starting the evolution of change.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah. And let's see, was there another piece too? There were so many things there that were just
It's hard to like.
beautiful. I'll have to go back and listen to the recording and be like, oh, I was going to say this, this, and this.
Yeah.
So just going, so okay, now I remember that something that you sparked in there was like, you were immediately drawn to your innate gifts and talents. Like,
Yeah.
by saying, what do I want? Suddenly you were led to the art. And then you knew you started to see and unpack, okay, this gift is for me, and this is a gift I can share with the world.
Yes. Yes, totally. So I think what it was, like I said, I was sitting on the couch, I was bawling my eyes out because everything was just awful. And, my poor little guy was like 3 years old, and I didn't know what to do anymore. And I was like, give me something. But the point about that is that I got quiet and I asked the question and I started listening.
Yes.
And that is why I also teach meditation, because that's something that I think a lot of us in our busy day-to-day lives, I know me included, even after I was teaching it, I was still having a hard time doing it myself.
Right.
Taking the time for ourselves to get quiet and just listen to the answer. Everything that we need is right there. And I think that a lot of us have this idea that our soul's purpose is like, again, it's some huge end game, big deal thing. And a lot of the times I think it comes through and it's so, so simple. It's like, it feels like this huge, massive breakthrough when we get there, but it's so obvious. And you can't see it because it's like that forest for the tree thing, right? You can't see it until you look for it, until you listen for it. And the answers are always, always there for us when we can quiet ourselves long enough to see, hear, feel into them, right? And I started getting messages about malas. I had no idea what they were. I was seeing them everywhere. I thought they were gorgeous. And I went on Amazon. I was going to buy myself an $8 mala. And, I was like, I could do this. Awesome. It's going to help me meditate. And I went to click buy and I just couldn't do it because it didn't feel any kind of connection to this thing. And it didn't matter that it was only $8. I could afford it at the time, all that stuff. It was like, this isn't right. And I just said, okay, universe, if this is what I'm supposed to have, then show me the one I'm supposed to get. And within the week, I had met 2 women who made them as custom creations. So they create them specifically for you. And so I actually ended up ordering both. So I have 2 very special, very different malas from 2 very lovely ladies. But before they both came, I knew I was fired up. I needed to learn how to make these things. So I went on YouTube and I was like learning, and I made one for my friend and it came out perfectly. Like, I figured if I make it for my friend and it's awful, then she won't care, right?
Right.
And it was amazing. And it was such a beautiful process. And the beads, the stones, because I use natural healing stones, and they were speaking to me, and it was so incredible. And I knew that I needed to do that. So it was just this random thing that, it was calling me, and I listened. It was just a breadcrumb, just an idea that was floating around in my awareness, and I followed it. And now I create custom malas for people too. So it's part of what I do as well. So these things can come to us in the most simplest ways, but we need to get quiet and listen. So.
Yes. Are you wearing one of your malas?
I am, yes, yes.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, is that a rose quartz at the end?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, that amethyst. Lovely.
It's fluorite. It's really dark.
Oh, it's fluorite. Okay.
Yeah. So it's cool. I can post a photo of it under the feed if anybody's interested to see what it actually looks like. So.
Yes. And then are you wearing one of your crochet pieces as well? Because you also do.
I did make this. Yeah, it's
beautiful.
A rather large one, but it's my favorite peacock colors. So
I love it. So do you do shows, and do you go out and present your stuff that way, or is it mostly online?
Yeah, so it's mostly online. I have done a show, and that was just part of the process of, let's try this and see if I like it. I may do one in the future, but it wasn't really energetically aligned with me. It was a lot of work, and it was, long hours, and I didn't get that much. I was able to connect with a few lovely people, but not in the way that I prefer. So I definitely love to show up on my Facebook page and in my community. I have a group as well, and, show up that way and connect. I can connect with ladies so much easier and so much quicker through the internet than I can, going to a public space. So I do want to do more public speaking, though. That's something that I'm looking at in the future. So, yeah.
Lovely, lovely. So you've got the art side, and then let's dive in a little bit about your, so you offer readings as well. You do private consultations and readings with that. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the types of women and the types of support you provide with that, because you bring in law of attraction coaching with the readings.
Yes. Okay. So pretty much, it's so funny. That's actually what led me to teaching law of attraction, was because I realized that every time I was doing a reading, I was like teaching about the law of attraction. It would just come up naturally, because it's in everything. The law of attraction is just part of life. It's kind of like gravity, where it just is. It's a law of the universe. And so it's infused in absolutely everything that we are and do. So when I was, I would be pulling cards for someone, and that would be the message, was, to just, go have fun, right? And I would explain why having fun was important, and it brings your energy up, and it helps you feel better, and all these things. So but yes, I do card readings, and I'm now offering mediumship as well. And awesome. I'm moving into energy work as well. So the healer proclamation there, that's a new one for me. So I'm still kind of getting used to it, but
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And all of that you do is energy work. I think I keep the term pretty general, because when you're able to, speak to someone through a shift in their life, that's energy work. Like, there's no one way. Or connecting somebody with a loved one and having that, having that awareness of like, oh my gosh, there's more to this. There's more life beyond the body, just in a different form, and all of that. So we're not limited to only one hat.
That's exactly why I started, claiming and owning the label of healer, because I realized, even when I'm creating malas, I'm tuning into your energy. Right. I'm tapping into the essence of who you are and what you're trying to do with your life in order to create the exact creation that you need in this moment. So even that work, and obviously I have to connect in with energy in order to pull cards and to read correctly and all of those things. So I began to realize that I am so much more connected to energy than I had originally realized. And so then it made it more comfortable to speak that truth that I'm an energy worker, an energy healer. And yeah.
Yes, I love that. When the energy worker thing came in, I was using light worker a lot last year, because that's kind of the common term. And then for some reason, I don't know, I just didn't, and I'm like seeing little flickers of light as I say it. Like, I don't know, there's something shifted for me. And in the fall, Spirit said, energy worker, energy worker. And I'm like, okay. And I started putting that out there, and I'm starting to see more people use it.
Yeah.
My friend Sally that I interviewed a couple weeks ago talked about soul workers, and so we kind of can all like claim what it is that we do within our work. But it's all energy. We're all here to help people raise their vibration, whatever that medium is. That's where the energy work comes in. So if it's through a motivational talk, if it's from a reading, it's from a piece of high vibrational art.
Yeah.
It's just getting and raising the vibe of the planet too at the same time, right? Because you're like, what I love is that you're creating also pieces that are heirlooms, they're going to stay, that are going to have a lasting impact. And that's a powerful aspect as well of your business.
Yes, definitely. I love the global impact that I am making, just showing up on my Facebook page and doing a reading, and touching those lives and lighting people up. I love to see the smile on a face of somebody who didn't expect much from the reading. When I just had a client this week who was quite skeptical, and she wasn't even really sure she wanted me to pull cards for her. And we went ahead and did it, and she got all the answers she needed. And it was, it's incredible. And lifting her up will have such a domino effect, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's super powerful for me. I'm so grateful to be doing this work, for sure.
Yes. And I'm right there with you. Like, that's kind of the purpose of this interview series, is to get the word out, and spread the message, because I knew from day one that we're also creating a new economy. And so the more that we educate people about what we do, how we can help, how we can serve, and, all of us, like, there's more than enough for every single one of us. But it's a matter of that educational aspect and being open to receiving the people and the opportunities as well. It's just also so connected. So, and then let's talk a little bit about your meditation work as well. So do you do classes? Like, how do you weave that into your business?
So I haven't done classes, but that is something I'm looking at doing. I have a group program, so we definitely talk about meditation in there.
Okay.
And part of the modules, you receive a meditation that is directed at one of the 5 principles of the law of attraction. So, the one that just happened last week was regarding beliefs. So removing some limiting beliefs and installing some powerful new ones. Another thing that I do as well is each custom mala that goes out the door also has a recorded video that the client will receive with their mala being used to do a meditation that is channeled for them. And then they can use that to begin their practice, or they can use it as an instigator or a way to learn how to use the mala, or they can continue using that same meditation if they are connected to it. So that's something I also provide.
Lovely. So it all works together. So do you find that your client will like kind of find their entry point with you either through like a reading or, of something on Facebook, and then next thing you know, like they're buying a mala, they're buying an art piece, they're getting in your group? Do you kind of have that?
That's definitely happened. I feel like it depends on the person.
Okay.
Because it kind of goes all sorts of different directions. So I feel
Yeah.
like what I have is a web, and they can come in at different entry points. So some people grab the mala first, and then they realize I have a group, and then they're, into the class. And some people are, they start with the readings, and then they get involved with other things as well. So it kind of comes from all different sides, but yeah.
Yeah, there's never that one
Never
that
one
one
that's
little
always
way.
the same. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Awesome. So is there anything else that you want to share with us today, Shelly?
I think if I could just leave everyone with a final note, it would be really, truly, you are in control of your own experience in this world. And when you acknowledge that, you are taking your power back. And when you are in the driver's seat of your life, you can truly make magic happen, and you don't have to believe in magic. It feels like it's magical when you get on the law of attraction train, when you get into alignment and you're making things happen in your world. It feels like you're working magic, right? But really, it's just all about energy, and it's just all coming together because you're in alignment and you're working with things correctly. So my little freebie gift that I have for everyone is all about that. It's all about the 5 principles of law of attraction. It gives you a really clear idea of what they are and how you can start working with them on purpose and in the right way, because so many of us with no experience about the law of attraction are doing it backwards, and we're putting the energy in the wrong place, and it's getting us the wrong things. And that, I really want to get that out of the way so that we can start moving in the right direction. So feel free to.
Yes, beautiful. That's so important. So if you resonating with that, and maybe you've been trying the law of attraction and you're listening to YouTube videos and you're just not able to really crack the code of it, you definitely grab Shelly's PDF, and we've got the link here in the title of the live stream, and that's shellypetersen.com/laws-of-attraction. And you can also, that will take you to Shelly's website where you can have a look at her art. In the Infinitely Empowered group, she's posting some of her offers you offer a consultation for the mala. Yes. The mala experience. I know that that's on my list. I've been asking my husband for over a year now that I want him to get me a custom mala. So I'm going to remind him our anniversary is coming up.
Awesome.
Because you also want to get, you want to get that piece from somebody who you resonate with too, right?
That's why that call is free. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly why that call is free. That. I haven't had anybody, come on the call and be like, no, you're not right for me yet. But I want to have that there in case, because it's definitely true that we don't all resonate with each other, and, you do need the right person to create for you. So, yeah.
Yes. And if you're not sure what mala beads are, like Shelly mentioned earlier, go on YouTube, look them up, start to investigate what they are, because they are beautiful meditation and transformational tools. And they do help you with your meditation practice and with what Shelly's creating with the beautiful stones and just the energy art of the mala. That's just a whole other beautiful dimensional level. And I know as spiritual women, we love to treat ourselves with nice stones and nice jewelry. So that's always a part of it.
Yes, definitely.
Well, this has been so much fun to connect with you today, Shelly, and I really appreciate you taking the time to connect with our community, and it's been fun to get to know you as well. Yeah. And again, everybody, hop over to Shelly's website, grab her free PDF. Internet stalker, like that's what we were talking to a lady today. Go stalk all of her stuff, go check out her biz page, and then if you want to put anything in the comments, Shelly, some pictures or any follow-ups of links to your mala, links to your card reading opportunities, any of that stuff, go ahead. And we will keep an eye out for that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. I have really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too. It's so much fun to connect with like-minded individuals and similar souls. So thanks everyone for joining To Your Infant Empowerment. This is Celia Faye Meisel and Shelly Petersen, and we'll see you soon. Bye.